Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I'm Terry Hegarty in Baltimore. I'll provide a personal profile of the Diocese of Springfield's new bishop, Baltimore native Bishop Mitchell Rozanski.
Preparations are in full swing for the installation of Springfield's 9th bishop. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story.
And Bishop McDonald looks back at 10 years of service as shepherd of the Diocese of Springfield. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel.
From throughout Western New England and beyond, this is Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Roulier.
Hello and welcome to Reel from St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield, home of the official seat of the Roman Catholic Bishop of the Diocese of Springfield. The cathedra behind me is literally the official seat of the bishop and is where the word cathedral, meaning seat, originates. It's been a flurry of activity around the diocese ever since the announcement of our new bishop, Mitchell Rozanski, who's from Baltimore. In just a few days, Bishop Rozanski will be installed as the 9th bishop of Springfield during a ceremony and mass here. The invite list is long. There's still a lot of work to be done in the next few days. Reel to Reel's Carolee McGrath takes us behind the scenes to get a look at the preparation and gives us an idea of what to expect as we welcome our new shepherd.
Did you think we were going to get these done?
No, I still don't think we're going to get them done.
Sister Kathy Homrock, the Director of Pastoral Ministry for the Diocese of Springfield, and Stacy DeBurn, who manages the annual Catholic Appeal, have been carefully assembling and addressing what looks like wedding invitations close to 1,000. But if it were a wedding they were getting ready for, they would have had at least a year to plan in most cases.
So what remains is the deacons list, Bishop Rozanski's list, and this list that I've been adding to daily. Yes.
Stacy and Sister Kathy are members of the installation committee. They've had just shy of 2 months to prepare for the installation of Springfield's 9th bishop, Bishop Mitchell Rozanski, on August 12th.
There's a lot of detail for an event of this magnitude. The nice part is it's an exciting and an enjoyable ceremony, and it's for a happy reason. So while there are obviously challenges to get a big ceremony put together in a relatively short amount of time, it's an exciting time for the Church of Springfield.
Monsignor Christopher Connolly, Vicar General for the diocese, is the chair of the installation committee.
We found out that Bishop Rozanski would be bishop on June 19th, and the installation committee that Bishop McDonald put together began meeting that following Tuesday, and we've met every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and our last meeting will be August 12th, the installation at 2 o'clock.
Monsignor Connolly says the long guest list includes bishops, priests, pastors, women religious, representatives of the many Catholic ministries and organizations, political leaders, and of course, Bishop Rozanski's family from the Baltimore area.
The list of those invited are to give a broad representation from throughout the diocese and beyond. All the bishops in the United States are invited. Guests of Bishop Rozanski's from Baltimore, and then the majority of the people in the cathedral will be from our diocese. Bishop Rozanski made it clear that he would like it to be a celebration of the Church of the Diocese of Springfield.
The installation is expected to take about 2 hours. It is a traditional mass. Of course, there will be unique rituals throughout the ceremony. For example, it all begins by Bishop Rozanski knocking on the front doors of St. Michael's Cathedral.
The Mass will be a lengthy Mass due to the numbers and due to the ceremony involved. It begins with Bishop Rozanski knocking on the front doors of the cathedral, literally knocking to come in and being welcomed there by Cardinal O'Malley and the Papal Nuncio, the Holy Father's representative in our country, and then the procession will conclude obviously in the sanctuary.
The readings during the liturgy will be done in several different languages. The Mass will also be televised live on EWTN, Catholic TV out of Boston, and locally on 22 News. Mark DuPont is the Director of Catholic Communications.
Throughout the history of the Diocese of Springfield, he will only be our 9th bishop, the 9th leader. I mean, you think of we've had how many mayors, how many governors, and other officials, but we've only had 9 bishops of Springfield. And they lead a large geographic area, the whole western part of the state. And they really do lead us. They set the tone in how we embrace our faith and how we embrace the gospel values that we are taught to follow.
DuPont says the live coverage will allow people who can't be at the installation to get to know the bishop.
He will speak to the people officially for the first time, and we can expect that he'll set out sort of what his approach will be to how we embrace our faith. Of course, we all celebrate the same faith. The doctrines and the teachings don't change. But every bishop brings a special emphasis in how he sees the future and how he'll lead the church into the future.
And Catholics all over Western Massachusetts continue to pray for Bishop Rozanski as he takes on his new role in his new home. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And remember, whether you attend the installation or just view it on TV, everyone is invited to the public reception at 5 p.m. at the Big E. As we know, the bishop's installation will be a very special event that many people will want to be a part of from both near and far. Joining me now to talk more about how the media will be covering this event is Mark DuPont, Director of Catholic Communications for the Diocese. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Hi, Sharon. Nice to be with you.
Now, so far, for those of us who are not able to attend the installation, where can we turn to dial to, so to speak?
Well, absolutely. There's be a number of opportunities for folks to watch and take part in this electronically. For folks locally, probably the first source will be 22 News, WWLP, will carry live coverage starting at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, August the 12th. That will be anchored by 22 News anchor Rich Teddemer and our own Father Bill Hamilton. As well, we will be on EWTN, Eternal Word Television Network, also at 2 o'clock. And Catholic TV, our good friends who also carry Reel to Reel, they will also be carrying live coverage of the installation at 2 o'clock on August the 12th. So you have 3 choices there for television viewing.
And along with being able to see the installation live on TV, can you tell us what other platforms people can look to see or hear about the historic day's events?
Well, Sharon, of course, as you know quite well, you will be co-anchoring coverage of the installation with Father John Gatzak on radio station WJMJ out of Hartford, 88.9 FM. They will be carrying the radio coverage starting again at 2 o'clock this Tuesday, August the 12th, and you'll be joining Father John for that. And for those who just have access to a computer or a smartphone or anything, you can certainly watch it by logging on to our news and information website, www.iobserve.org. That's iobserve.org. We'll have live streaming. There'll be no commentary on that. However, it'll just be the actual sights and sounds from inside the cathedral and the installation ceremony.
All right, thanks so much, Mark DuPont, Director of Catholic Communications. I know there are many folks who are looking forward to this joyous occasion. Now, as we prepare to welcome our new bishop, we want to also share with you an interview with our newest Bishop Emeritus, Timothy A. McDonnell, as it was 10 years ago on April Fool's Day that he came to us. In honor of that occasion, reporter Peggy Weber sat down with Bishop Tim last spring, and he offered the following reflections.
Bishop Timothy McDonnell was installed as the 8th Bishop of Springfield on April Fool's Day, 2004. It was a stormy day, both literally and figuratively. We asked Bishop McDonnell what he remembered from that momentous occasion.
Well, the first thing I remember is that it rained, and it continued to rain. Second thing I remember is that in this very room, Cardinal Egan was sitting when we had a blowback on the boiler downstairs, and smoke started coming from the house. We weren't sure whether it was white smoke or black smoke. But it was, so the fire department arrived. It was an exciting beginning before the ceremony even took place. It's funny how days like that you capture more when you look at a video afterwards. Going through it, there's so many things happening simultaneously. The ceremony itself, the people, new surroundings, new place, and a challenge, not knowing what the future holds, putting it all in God's hands.
Bishop McDonald came to Springfield from the Archdiocese of New York amid the scandal of the sudden resignation and departure of then Bishop Thomas Dupre, who had been accused of sexual misconduct. Bishop McDonald recalled how he felt.
I don't think I'm still over the shock. It just was, it was wrong. It was wrong that those things happened, and I haven't been able to make them right. That's one of my regrets, that I haven't been able to make them as right as they should be, but I don't know if anybody could. It's a reality, and we've put into place now, as best we can, safeguards to try to prevent this from ever happening in any way, in any church again.
He noted that perhaps one of his biggest challenges was pastoral planning.
I discovered that since the 70s, the diocese had been declining in numbers. Right now, we're about only 2/3 of the number of Catholics that we were at the end of the 70s. So over that period of time, the numbers have gone down. So we had to face the fact that we were church rich and people poor in many ways. And that meant the reconfiguration of a number of parishes. That was a very difficult thing and very hard thing for people, and it still is.
Bishop McDonald faced many challenges beyond being a Yankees fan in Red Sox territory. He said he has faced many other hurdles.
The challenge really was getting to know people, getting to know what the diocese was like, getting to know the situations here, getting to know the good things and the bad, and then facing them and seeing how I could do my best with God's help to bring the diocese forward and help it really be what it's meant to be, the people of God, worshiping the Lord in fitting settings.
The past 10 years have not all been filled with problems and hardships. He has met two popes, Pope John Paul II and Pope Benedict, and now serves under Pope Francis. Yes, there have been many moments of great joy.
There's some fantastic people here, some dedicated people, wonderful people. I mean, the people I work with here in the administration, the people I work with in the, I've come to know in different parishes, different organizations. Not too long ago, we had a gathering of the Hispanic community, for example, which has been growing. And I'd say almost 600 people came out for that evening. One of the great things is lots and lots of children. And that's one of the things we're seeing, that there are more, the number of children being baptized is growing slowly. For so long, every year, and this goes back to 1985, every year since then, there's been 1,000 more funerals than baptisms in the diocese. That says an awful lot, but now we're seeing the baptism starting to increase a little bit again. And that's a positive sign. That's a great sign of growth. We've seen the maturing of the Vietnamese community in the diocese. We've seen a combination of all the different cultures coming together in some of the new parishes.
Another joy for Bishop McDonald has been the wonderful friendship he has developed with Bishop Emeritus Joseph F. McGuire.
He's a mentor. He is one of the kindest and sharpest men I've ever met. The more I learn about him, the more I take delight in knowing him. He is just a kind, gentle man who has great insight and is a great storyteller. And among the things, it's just fun to sit there with him and chat and go through some of the things of the day.
And Bishop McDonald remains positive and optimistic about the diocese.
One of the things is that the hurts can be healed, that we can realize that we're all part of one church, that one Lord, one faith, one baptism, that we are followers of Jesus Christ, I think one of the things Pope Francis is doing, and it's been so wonderful, is that it's bringing people back to the idea of what it means to really follow Jesus. It means that we look out for each other. It means that we're not condemnatory, but caring. It means that we are a people of God, and that we realize we are brothers and sisters all. And that if we can really understand that and work on that, we'll build a better society. We'll make things better for everyone. Caring, I think, is the key. People really care in this area. They can't always express it, but it's true. And I think if we can help that to grow, the diocese has a great future.
Bishop McDonald leads a simple life. He cooks for himself, and he spends time in prayer and quiet. When asked about his upcoming retirement, he said,
I'll still be around. I'll be living in the diocese, but it'll be more ministry and less administration. I can get away from the desk.
And when asked what advice he would give the new bishop, he said simply,
Just enjoy the fact that you're among good people, good place, and the people are God's people.
As he looks forward to a new part of his priesthood, Bishop McDonald can look back on the stormy day he took the helm of the ship of the Diocese of Springfield and thank God for steering it safely and well for the past decade. For Real to Real, I'm Peggy Weber.
Thanks, Peggy. And Bishop McDonald is correct that he will still be around. He is now living at St. Joseph's Rectory in Pittsfield with fellow Bronx native Monsignor Michael Shershanovich. The two can cheer on the Yankees from the Berkshires. And still to come on Real to Real.
You are getting a gem of a priest and a bishop.
Terry Hegarty brings us reaction from Baltimore, the place Bishop Rozanski has lived in and served. This story and more is still to come on this edition of Real to Real.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passionist Brother Terrence Scanlon, your Chalice host, inviting you to take time out of your warm days and join us Sunday morning at 10. This week we welcome Father James Nolte, Parochial Vicar at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish, as our Mass presider.
Lamb of God, you take away the sins of
the Chalice of Salvation, your spiritual connection, Sunday morning at 10, right here on 22 News.
He is a doctor of the church, a messenger of hope, and the finder of lost things. He is St. Anthony of Padua, and one of his first-class relics will soon be on display right here in Western Massachusetts. Come to St. Anthony Maronite Catholic Church, 375 Island Pond Road in Springfield, from September 6th through the 14th to see the relic. There will be daily masses and opportunities for confession. There will also be food and a religious gift shop at the adjacent Cedars Hall. Special days have been scheduled for different heritages and cultures. There's even a special youth day. Father Warren Savage will offer a 3-part evening lecture series about St. Anthony of Padua, who is a beloved Franciscan saint known as a gifted preacher. Don't miss this rare opportunity to see this relic, which will travel all the way from Italy. For more information, call 413-452-0577 or log on to santanthonysrelic.com.
The people of the Diocese of Springfield got their first view of Bishop Mitchell Rozanski on June 19th, the day Pope Francis appointed him to be the 9th ordinary of the Diocese of Springfield. Since then, he's spent some time back in his native Baltimore, wrapping up responsibilities there before he takes the helm here in Springfield this Tuesday. Terry Hegarty and videographer Sean Manning traveled to Maryland recently to find out how Bishop Rozanski's friends, family, and co-workers reacted to the news that their Bishop Mitch would be coming to Springfield. Here's Terry's personal profile of our new bishop.
For those in Western Massachusetts who want a better idea as to what kind of man Springfield's new bishop, Bishop Mitchell T. Rozanski, is, there's no shortage of praise in Baltimore, the city where he was born and raised and spent his entire adult life thus far. Baltimore Archbishop William Laurie told Reel to Reel that Bishop Rozanski has been an excellent priest and bishop.
He's just done a wonderful job, and I'm really going to miss him. So I can say to your viewers, you are getting a gem of a priest and a bishop. You really are.
Ordained to the priesthood 30 years ago, Bishop Rozanski has served all that time in the Archdiocese of Baltimore, 20 years as a parish priest and the last 10 as an auxiliary bishop. Fellow auxiliary bishop Dennis Madden says the people of the Diocese of Springfield will be blessed to have Bishop Rozanski.
Well, they're most fortunate because they're getting an excellent bishop, an excellent pastor. Bishop Mitch was a pastor for years in different parts of the Archdiocese, and he's always maintained that quality of being a pastor while he was a bishop.
Yeah, I think he's got the perfect qualities to be a great bishop. He's got great pastoral experience. He served pretty much at every level of the church. He was a associate pastor. He served as a pastor. He's got great pastoral instincts, a great love for being a priest.
Bishop Rozanski's parents, Alfred and Jean Rozanski, live in Maryland, as do his two brothers, Kenneth and Albert. His parents say that they and their 3 boys practiced the faith as a family.
No, I think religion keeps the family together. And if you're faithful to it, it's faithful to you.
Last June, Bishop Rozanski was introduced to the people of the Diocese of Springfield by retiring Bishop Timothy McDonald.
I like to tell Springfield that they're getting a very good bishop. Not because he's my son, but because I see the way he worked, being a bishop and getting along with everybody. I'm sure he'll get along with everybody in Springfield, and I know they're going to like him.
And I feel the same way, that they'll find out that he's very dedicated, and he'll try to do his best, in everything that he does. And I'm hoping that the people of Springfield will love him just as much as the people down here in Baltimore loved him.
Bishop Rozanski celebrated his 56th birthday earlier this week. He's the first Polish-American bishop of the Diocese of Springfield.
And we're confident that wherever God calls us as priests or as bishops, that we're ready to serve. So when I heard that I would be going to Springfield, Massachusetts, I was a little shocked because I knew nothing of the area, nothing of the diocese, but confident, like all of my other assignments, I would certainly have the grace of God to go with me and to help me to serve his people.
The Archdiocese of Baltimore serves more than 500,000 Catholics. The Archdiocese of Baltimore is roughly twice the size of the Diocese of Springfield in terms of number of Catholics, but in terms of geography, it is much larger and spreads far beyond the city. Bishop Rozanski is very familiar with that expansive geography, having traveled far and wide across western Maryland in his role as auxiliary bishop.
I think his having served in such a large diocese geographically, with responsibilities for a large number of parishes and schools, really was the perfect preparation for him, because it's almost like he's been leading a diocese in miniature.
While he's looking forward to serving the people of the Diocese of Springfield, he's not coming in with any plans for dramatic changes.
What I owe everyone in coming to Springfield is first to learn about Springfield, to get to know the people of Springfield, to get to know the church of the Diocese of Springfield. And then, as I get to learn about that and work with the priests and the deacons, the religious men and women, and with the laity, then I think together we forge a direction for God's people.
Bishop Rozanski says that he took a great deal of time to decide upon his Episcopal motto, "Serve the Lord with gladness."
To serve the Lord with gladness means that when we're doing the Lord's will, we have to be indeed a people that are happy. So that kind of captured it for me, of reaching out to others in the name of Jesus in service. When we are doing what he has called us to do, when we're living his example, then we do so with hearts that are truly happy and joyful.
His Episcopal motto is, perfectly kind of summarizes his approach to his ministry, as a priest and a bishop. He's just a happy person. I think for people just to know that their bishop cares about them and loves them and wants to be with them, is a great witness and a great blessing for people.
Baltimore has been Bishop Rozanski's home in every sense of the word. Here at the Cathedral of Mary Our Queen, Archbishop Laurie, Bishop Madden, and hundreds of faithful from across the Archdiocese gathered for a Mass of thanksgiving and farewell. The 3 p.m. Mass hosted more than 500 well-wishers, friends, and family who were thanking him for his years of service. Attendees personally bid their former auxiliary bishop farewell following the liturgy. The people of Baltimore will greatly miss Bishop Rozanski after he moves more than 340 miles north.
It's an honor, and it's for him to be up there, but yet it's sad that he's moving away. When Archbishop Laurie called, and he says, "Congratulations and my condolences," because he's moving away. Yeah. But that's it. But we're happy for him, and we know he'll do his best up there, because I know he did his best down here, and I'm sure they will get his best up there from him.
But he's a wonderful man. He's a very spiritual man. He's got a lot of depth to him. You just can hear, even like you heard from the homily this morning, there's a great way of, unlocking and opening the scriptures to us and then giving us a way through them, a way to live them.
Bishop Rozanski says that he's been well prepared by Bishop McDonnell for taking the helm in Western Massachusetts.
I appreciate his, first of all, willingness to share with me as much as he has done, and his love of the people of the diocese. That love is really evident, and it's there. His enthusiasm for ministry, and I know that enthusiasm will continue in retirement.
Bishop Rozanski will be installed as the 9th Bishop of the Diocese of Springfield this Tuesday, August 12th at 2 p.m. in Springfield's St. Michael's Cathedral. The installation will be broadcast in its entirety, as Catholic Communications will be televising it live on EWTN, Catholic TV, and 22 News. We will also provide live streaming on our news and information website, iobserve.org. And later on August 12th, the public is invited to a reception at 5 p.m. at the Better Living Center at the Eastern States Exposition in West Springfield. All are welcome to come to meet Bishop Rozanski. Hope to see you there. Next week on Reel to Reel, I'll detail more of what Bishop Rozanski was like growing up and take you to Sacred Heart of Mary Parish, where his vocation to the priesthood was fostered. Reporting from Baltimore for Reel to Reel, this is Terry Hegarty.
Terry will have the second part of his interview next week, and Bishop Rozanski will be installed as the 9th Bishop of the Diocese of Springfield just a few days from now on Tuesday, August 12th at 2 p.m. right here in Springfield's St. Michael's Cathedral. You can watch the installation in its entirety, as Catholic Communications will be televising it live on WWLP 22 News. There, Father Bill Hamilton will join 22 News anchor Rich Teddemer for commentary. You can also watch live on Catholic TV and the EWTN network. I will be joining Father John Gatzak on Catholic radio station WJMJ FM 88.9 for complete coverage, and we will also provide live streaming on our news and information website, iobserve.org. So you can take part in this historic event and join us again next week for another edition of Reel to Reel, recapping the installation Mass and all the related events. That's next week right here on Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.